You've poured your blood, your sweat, and maybe a few tears into this concert. And now you're convinced it's going to be a train wreck. Let's get real about why you probably can just chill out.
It's the Happy Music Teacher!
Are you an elementary music teacher who's frustrated and overwhelmed? I'm Jeanette Shorey, a happy music teacher who loves teaching every day, but it wasn't long ago I was in your shoes. Join me Wednesdays to help you find happy in your music classroom.
So we all know what happens. The first rehearsal is truly a train wreck, no matter what you're doing, no matter how long you've rehearsed, no matter what the program. The kids don't know the lyrics. They are totally scattered. They don't know how to stand on risers if you're using risers, all the things. And you go home and you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be horrible. And you're terrified. And I don't blame you, because that's what always happens, right? I mean, that is what happens. The first, 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 rehearsals, if you get to have that many, and let's face it, a lot of times principals don't allow that many, but if you get to have that many, they're all a train wreck. But I want you to remember something. I want you to remember that no matter what happens, and don't get alarmed, I am not going to say to you, oh, the parents are going to be just fine because all that you need is to have those beautiful little voices and it doesn't matter what happens. Because you know what? We know as music teachers, I know that you feel very strongly, you take pride in what you do. And it doesn't matter if there's one tiny little mistake, you're going to take that home with you. And I know because that's what I do. I internalize everything, every mistake, every detail, everything that happens and goes wrong. It all goes right here, right? And right here. So I don't want you to stress, because let's face it, stressing is not going to help you at all. I want you to be super organized. And if you haven't been organized, then you need to make sure and get more organized for next year, because that is going to help you. But that doesn't help you right now. So that is a whole other, in fact, I will link in the show notes to an episode on how to organize your concert season before the concert season actually starts. But for today, I want you to feel good about what you are doing. And so I want you to remember 3 key things. Number 1, remember that everything that happens, every single thing that happens with your students is also happening to my students, is happening to the neighboring school's students. Kids are kids, and they're not going to remember the lyrics, and they're not going to do all the things you want them to do, and somebody's going to throw up on the stage, or someone is going to, just have a moment. I one time had a kiddo that I was backstage with 100 choir students, and I had a group of students that was out ready to do another part of the performance, and there was nobody on the stage with them, and I was fully aware of it, but it was kind of one of those situations where I just didn't have enough help. And that kid kept opening the curtains and closing the curtains and opening the curtains and closing the curtains and running around. And oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. And I got a talking to after that. But you know what happens? You're in a situation where you've got all the students and there's just not enough help. So, things like that are going to happen. Everything that happens during your rehearsal is going to happen everywhere. You are not alone. It is all normal. So I want you to keep that in mind first. Second, kids are kids. Parents are parents. Some kids are not going to show up for your performance. In fact, I had a gorgeous soloist one time, and this goes back quite a number of years when I didn't understand exactly how big of a deal sports were, especially here in Alabama. It is a big deal. Like, all the sports are a big deal. And I know that's pretty much the case in, everybody thinks their kid is going to be a superstar and they can't miss any games. And not only can they not miss any games, they can't miss any practices. And that is what happened. I had a student who did not show up for one of my solos, and I had to scramble at the last minute. I was like, where is so-and-so? And they were like, oh, we don't know. The next day I was like, hey, we missed you. And I was nice, but I was like, hey, we missed you. And they were like, oh yeah, I had a soccer practice, not a game, a practice. So that kind of thing is going to happen. And I recommend that if you haven't had your end of the year concert yet, make sure you plan for that by having an understudy or even 2 understudies. So, and then what I would do is I would have the understudies sing. We always had assemblies during school so that the kids could see all of the beautiful music that was being performed. And so I would have the understudies perform at the assembly, and we would, specially invite their parents in to, see them. And then hopefully the person who was the real deal was going to show up at the concert. But if they didn't, then I had somebody else that could, really easily just slide in there. So you need to expect that even though this is your job and it's very important to you, it's not going to be as important to the students and the parents, for sure. I mean, you're going to get some kids they just love the choir and they love to sing, or they love the performing aspect if you're doing a musical or whatever, but it's not the same as the way you feel about it, and they just don't hold the same level of importance, and it's nothing you did, and it's not your fault, and I know it makes you upset because it always made me upset, but you have to kind of deal with that and expect, suspend your expectation. I don't know if that's even a thing, but don't expect that anybody is going to take it as seriously as you do. So that is your second tip for today. Number 3, let go of perfectionism. You and I both know they're children, and you want them to perform to their best. But if somebody forgets some lyrics, the thing that happened to me the most, besides the lyrics being forgotten, and I would actually hold up posters, and I do recommend that if you have students who are not remembering lyrics, if you hold up write out your words, a couple of your words, and just hold up those posters, or have a buddy hold up those posters for you, or somebody's older sister that used to be in the chorus or at the school, and they're now, in middle school, and they came to watch, and you could be like, oh, can you help me with this? And, you can have them hold up those lyrics. That is a really good way to do it, but they are going to forget the lyrics. The other thing that always happened is they would get off beat. I'd be there waving my arms as big as I could, and they'd still be, that doesn't work. One way to combat that is to have monitors. So monitors are where you take 2 speakers and you turn them around and you face them towards the choir, so that the choir or your performing group, whatever kind of performing group you have, so that they can hear it. Number 4, while you can expect mistakes, you also want to shift your perspective a little bit, because you know what's going to happen? If you've been teaching for a while, and if this is your first year teaching, know that this is what's going to happen. No matter what happens in the rehearsals, no matter what happens during all the times that they're on the stage and they're going the wrong way and they don't remember the lyrics, when they get up on stage in front of all those people, they are going to shine. They're going to understand what a big deal it is, and they're going to be so excited and so proud, and they are going to shine. They are going to do a fabulous job. So I want you to know that that is going to happen. That is your bonus. That is going to happen. they are going to do a good job. So I want you to be like Elsa and let it go. Let go of all the stress and let go of all the anxiety, and know that, first of all, whatever happens on the night of the concert, you can't change it anyway. You are not there in their house helping them remember those lyrics. Second, you have tried your very best to make sure that the show is phenomenal. And third, 9 times out of 10, unless something random happens, they are going to shine and they are going to do a fabulous job. So let's go back and just do a quick review. Remember, number 1, that the reality is everyone is facing the same challenges. What's happening in your classroom, in your choir, in your rehearsal, all that mess is also happening to everybody else. It's totally normal and it's not your fault. Number 2, make sure you focus on the students that are there and don't get yourself stressed out. Expect that some students are going to be missing and make sure that you have coverage for all of them, and don't get yourself stressed out about that, because there is, again, nothing you can do about it and it's going to happen. Number 3, perfectionism is a myth. We're dealing even with any human. I will say to my students, do I have any robot children in here? I didn't think so. So if I don't have any robot children in here, then no one is perfect. Everyone is going to make mistakes, and I am expecting you to make mistakes. So I want you to let go of the perfectionism as well. You are not a robot. You may make a mistake. I have done things where I've skipped ahead to another set of lyrics. I one time had the wrong song in order, and the tracks went up, and I was like, oh no, and there I am scrambling trying to find the music. That kind of stuff is going to happen. Number 3, let go of the stress of being the conductor, the director, and just enjoy. And that bonus one, no matter what happens in rehearsals, most likely it's going to be beautiful. They're going to shine, and they're going to sound amazing, and the parents are going to be really, really happy.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. Explore more podcasts at www.teachbetterpodcastnetwork.com.
Well, that's all I have for you today. But before I go, I want to remind you, keep learning, keep growing, and keep being fabulous you.